Did you have another life before you were born? If you wonder about this in any way, then check out what happened to this boy. A little boy of only 6 years of age dare ask a very strange question of his brother. Where did you come from before you were born? The boy's name is Katsugoro, who himself was born on October 10, 1815. He and his brother are in a rice field in the village of Higashi, Nakano, 34 kilometers outside Tokyo. I don't know, the brother says. So now he turns to his sister, asking the same question. And she replies, how can I know where I had been before I was born? Why do you ask such a stupid question? Katsugoro believes he has lived before, as a little boy in another village known as Hodokubu. Now he's afraid his sister and brother will tell his parents. He does not want his parents to know that he asked this question. They'll get mad at him, and he doesn't want to be the subject of ridicule with other kids. They'll bully him for being weird. Yet, Katsugoro continues to have visions of having lived as another boy by the name of Kozo, with different parents. His father had been named Kyubi, and his mother had been called Hoshizu. In fact, he remembers that his former father, Kyubi, had died and had been replaced by another man called Hanshiro. And this Kozo, the other boy he had been seriously ill and died at the tender age of 6. Eventually, Katsugoro's parents hear about this, but they're not upset. They just don't take him seriously. If they only knew how deep these memories actually go and how strange they get. Katsugoro is now desperate to visit the house of his previous parents. This is what Katsugoro remembers of his own death as Kozo. Kozo is severely ill, but he fails to take his medicine. There is agony at first, but it soon passes. He then finds himself sitting on his own coffin. This coffin makes a loud thump as it drops into the grave. An old man appears. He has long white hair and takes Kozo, now no longer in his body, to another place, a beautiful field with flowers in bloom. Kozo loves it there. He takes a twig in his hand and breaks it. This angers a crow that tells him not to do that. At some point, the old man takes Kozo back to the village, where he smells food and sees dumplings being offered during festivities. He sees his parents and tries to talk to them, but no one answers him. Eventually, Kozo and the old man come by a house, and the old man points at it. "Born to that house," he says. At this point, Kozo seems to know to sit under a tree in the yard of that house. And he does so for a long, long while. He then goes inside the house and waits. There, a man and a woman who cannot see him talk about something that seems important. The woman is to leave to a place far away. Kozo then goes inside the woman's belly. He shifts his position there every so often so as not to cause her too much pain. Katsugoro is so obsessed with these memories that his mother finally gives in and starts asking around about this Kozo and his family. She makes enough noise around town that the word gets around quickly, and eventually an old man from the very village Katsugoro remembered comes forward and says this: in the house that Katsugoro described, a young woman leaves to a place far away, the capital city known as Edo, which is today's Tokyo. She does so she can work to support the family, only to come back when she realizes she's pregnant. There had been a man called Kyubi in this village, but no one had known him by that name, as he had changed it. So how could Katsugoro know about this? Especially as young as he was. Kyubi had also died 15 years earlier, and was replaced by Hanshiro, the very person Katsugoro had spoken of. Kyubi's son was named Kozo, who died of smallpox February 4th, 1810, when he was only 6. yet failed to take his medicine. After this revelation, Katsugoro is teased so much that he is now completely isolated. And yet, he still has a strong urge to visit the house of his past life, and his mother finally agrees to take him to the village where Kozo had lived. But it is Katsugoro who stops in front of a house and says, "This is the house." Now quickly, if you enjoyed this type of content, then go ahead and subscribe and you'll see more of it. They are welcomed inside by Kozo's mother, whose name is Shizu. Katsugoro had remembered her as Oshizu. Inside, Katsugoro points to a shelf. This was not here. Then a door that had been placed inside a wall. This was not here. A roof above a tobacco shop across the street. This was not here. And a tree. This was not here either. Kozo's mother, Shizu, cannot believe what she is hearing. Katsugoro is correct on every count, and he looks so much like Kozo. One objection to this story is that, well, it is just a story, but it does appear to be real. There were 3 men of high status at the time who interacted with Katsugoro. Ikeda Kenzan, a retired feudal lord and renowned man of literature and scholar. A high-ranking samurai named Okado Danhashiro, who was in charge of the land where Katsugoro lived, and a Japanese scholar of high reputation, Hirata Atsutane. All 3 verified Katsugoro's story and how it matched the facts of his previous family. Katsugoro also said something very interesting that fits what we know to be true. Katsugoro said that memories of his past life started to fade after 4 to 5 years of age. This is consistent with past life reports, in which kids typically start to lose their memories as they grow older. It is also consistent with what we know in psychology. We typically cannot recall memories formed at a very young age, what is known as infantile amnesia. Could most of us have lost memories of past lives because we simply grew up? What do you make of this? This report is one of many that is difficult to explain, but I can tell you about another one that is even more difficult to explain. So check out this video in which what happened was, well, according to current science, impossible.